yesterday I got a couple of people sending me messages to my WhatsApp, right? Around 9 o'clock thereabout. Because on NTV, shout out to James Smart. James Smart was on the TV having a conversation with some of the appointed leaders from the various government bodies, royalty collection bodies and all of that. And Nonini was very pissed off, posted up and said, listen, there's a couple of things that definitely need to be handled. Now, shout out to Nonini, who's all the way out in the US, the time difference and everything. I got to catch up with him. I asked him a couple of questions earlier on, and shout out to him. He's been a person who's been very vocal in terms of music collection from back in the day.
Acha break it down, Calvin, hapa kwa trace.
Yeah, man. So Shagana to Nonini having a conversation with me today on the radio. There's a couple of things I really want to get through right here. Now, like I said, man, we had to factor in the time difference and all of that. Now, the first question for my man Nonini right here on Fast with the Hits Trace FM. Very, very simple. Now, year on year, we see the same debacle. Every time the royalty collection bodies send whatever amount they say they collected from the various, the matatus, the bars, the, radio stations and all of that. And the artists are always, quick to share their sentiments about how much money they got. This past weekend, you saw what Bien said, what Calligraph said. All of these people complaining about the same issue over and over. It's gotten quite repetitive. Nonini, what's the issue?
The royalty thing has been going on for decades and decades. The same story, artists, and whenever they get paid, it's peanuts. And the major problem is that the CMOs are not distributing as per the regulations of the Kenya Copyright Board, which mandates them to distribute 70% of the monies they collect. So yeah. Secondly, a body like MCSK has so many what are they called, shadow members. It has members who are not, most of them are not musicians. It has over 15,000 musicians, but most of them are not really active musicians. So when they distribute the general distribution, where they cut money to everyone, it becomes a problem. But now what's interesting with this current distribution, it's not even general, it's scientific. The claim is for the airplay and how hard the artists have worked. So are you trying to tell me Sauti Sol are gonna get 14K for all these albums they've charged?
Wow, all of those albums that they've actually dropped, man. Sheesh. I saw that 14K. For me, it was actually quite sad. Now, moving on to my second question, good sir Nonini. Very, very simple. Now, you've been in the system. We've seen you in yesteryears when you were part of the royalty collection body, as at times you've said when we've had this conversation again, that musicians do at times have opportunities to be in these bodies. But why did you back out? And what is just not working in this?
Having been a director in one of the CMOs, that is Performance Rights Society of Kenya, we were mandated also by the Kenya Copyright Board to work together. To have joint licensing, so that we limit the number of people we hire in terms of administration, so that we cut costs. Okay. But this was fought very much by MCSK. It was fought by a couple of directors from the other CMOs, because everybody wants their own bank, everybody wants their own money, so that they can find ways to eat. If we were together in one pool, it's accountable, you understand? So being in the system, that was the major problem that made me actually resign, because they were not following the guidelines of the regulator. Okay. And the problem right now is still the same. Not distributing 70% and a lot of costs and expenses going to administration. How is a CEO earning 6 figures? CEO is earning 6 figures. They have head of licensing who's earning a lot of money. They have what they call the licensing people on ground all over the country, head of licensing being paid to go collect money. Like, everybody in the CMOs is making money, collecting money for the artists over and above the artist. Wow. The artist is not making nothing. Wow. But everybody around that money is making money.
Wow, that's deep. Everyone around that is making money, man. 6 figures off of collection. That's deep. Right, now on to my third question, right? And this is the big factor. Right here on Fast with the Hits Trace FM, everybody's asking this very question. So year on year, the money's been collected, but why is the collection just not equal to the payout?
Also, to add what is not working, over and above the CMOs not following the regulator, anytime the regulator asks for auditing, anytime the regulator, which is Kenya Corporate Board, gives them guidelines on how they should distribute and collect the monies, you know what they do? And anytime they're on the wrong and the regulator takes away their license, they run to court. They run to court and take court injunctions against the regulator. How do you take a injunction against your own regulator, the guy who's looking after you guys to distribute money well to the musicians? It's crazy. And to make matters worse, the court injunctions are very expensive. They use top lawyers. These lawyers get paid six figures amounts just to go to court, and these cases are expensive, bro. And guess who funds all this? It's the artist's money. So lawyers are also making money. It's a complicated business where the artist is not even benefiting.
The artist is still not benefiting. Wow. Like I said, man, having a conversation with Nonini all about the music collection business, what's been going. Of course, I reached out to him because we have to have representation in terms of both sides of the coin. I invite MCSK, Comp, and all of them to give me their side of the story, because as the true journalist, everybody has a right to air their story. So my next question to Nonini: collection equal to payment? Is that something that has been achieved, or what's actually going on?
The collection equal to the payout? Of course not. Come on now. What paltry amounts is that you're seeing artists posting? That's paltry amounts, man. Come on. Yes, they do collect money. And they might say maybe enforcement of collection is low, because also the stakeholders, those people who want to pay for our music, tend to feel like this money they're paying is not getting to us. So when they feel that way, it's going to be difficult for them to collect. So they don't have police backing, because the police stayed out of it. They don't want to get involved in all that mess. And yes, stakeholders feel like they don't want to pay, but even if they feel they don't want to pay, they're still paying. And the amounts they're paying are crazy. And most of it is being used in administration to pay these people's salaries. Come on.
So there you have it. Most of the money, according to Nonini, been used to pay for the administration. If you're just locking in, of course, Fast with the Hits Trace FM, having an honest conversation about what is happening about music in the 254, the collection bodies starting to send money to some of the musicians. Last weekend, we saw complaints. Yesterday, Sauti Sol saying that they might want to exit some of this royalty collection bodies, which you will find out that Nonini actually did exit one of them. Now, my next question to Nonini: is there no representation in the bodies for the musicians? And what is actually going on? Is there no representation? Because earlier you'd actually said that, you know, musicians are given an opportunity to join in, but I'm a bit confused.
Is there no representations in the body? The bodies, most of them are made out of musicians, but the problem is some of the members are used by the directors, because it's the directors who are voted in by members. But unapata, the membership is very tribal, so watu wanataka Mkikuyu wao, wanataka Mkamba wao, wanataka Mjaluo wao on the board, you understand? So if they're given this paltry 2,000 bob of bribes, they vote in the wrong people in there. We need more active musicians. We need more upcoming musicians to talk about these issues, to get involved. You know, if they stay and just continue just talking on social media, nothing is changing. And at the same time, these guys are still eating the money. It's going to be the same song year in, year out.
Year out. Wow. Whew. Man, it's deep. It's deep. Now, I believe you've exited one of the collection bodies, if I'm not wrong. I've seen you post up and say, some of these guys don't collect my money over time. So let me ask you this. You exited one and joined something else. How has that worked for you? And how's that been different? Like, what's changed from the time you exited this particular one?
I deregistered myself from one of the CMOs, not all. I'm still a member of PRISC, that's Performance Rights Society of Kenya. I'm still a member of CAMP, Kenya Association of Music Producers. I'm not a member of MCSK. I left MCSK and I joined ASCAP in the US. So my music is under ASCAP. My catalog for composer, authorship, and then publisher, that's MCSK, is under ASCAP. But I'm still on the rest of the other CMOs.
Oh, okay. So I get that. I get that. So you can actually exit one and move your collection elsewhere. That's very interesting. That's very, very interesting to know. Now, before I take so much of your time, sir, I want to ask you this. Now, if you were charged with changing the system, you haven't been there, seen, been a musician who's been there for what? Plus 2 decades and stuff. How would you go about changing up everything that has happened?
Oh, if I was charged to change the system, it's simple. Amend the copyright bill, amend it. Why do I say amend it? Because it right now the powers Kenya Copyright Board has is to license only 3 CMOs and under 3 category of rights. It can't license anybody else. So that's why every year the CMOs have to submit their books, their audit, and then the regulator has to decide whether they're going to give them the license. Only those 3 bodies. So take example, my case, I'm not a member of Music Society of MCSK. So where is my royalties going to be collected from? ASCAP collect all over the world, but for them to collect in Kenya, they need things called reciprocal agreements with the CMOs that are currently there.
Okay.
So my solution would be, number 1, amend the copyright bill so that Kenya Copyright Board can be able to license several organizations to collect for musicians, not only these 3 CMOs, so that we bring in competition. I would like MCSK to be there, CAMP to be there, PRISC to be there. Okay. Let's say Get Your Royalties company, somebody starts to be there. Any other company that feels that they can go out and collect money and distribute efficiently to musicians, they should be able to have part and play in the collection. And this has to be amended from the law so that Kekobo is not tied. Kekobo right now is tied to licensing only 3 CMOs. We need it to be opened up. Let's have 10 CMOs. Let musicians choose where they want to belong. Why do you want to force me to belong to MCSK? And in over 20 years, nothing has changed. I want to be able to go to a company where they offer me better services. So there's going to be competition. If there's competition now, the game is going to change. Currently, we're just locked with these 3 CMOs and there's nothing we can do about it. If that law is changed, then we open up the market for better service delivery. That's it. That's the solution.
There you go, man. Shout going out to Nonini for giving us his very, very experienced insight in that whole conversation to do with music and royalty collection and everything. Shout going out to him for spending time. It's late over there, but my man too took time and has taken time to have that conversation with me. Shout going out to Nonini one more time. Much respect. And of course, as I said, I represent true journalism, right? So I'm open to both sides of the coin being represented. So I open the floor to MCSK, to CAMP, to PRISC, to give their side of the story as well, right here on Fast with the Hits Trace FM.